You know, after living with multiple sclerosis for a little over 20 years, you develop a certain relationship with the disease. Let's call it a turbulent relationship. It's kind of like that frenemy who shows up at your door and punches you in the arm, claiming we're best friends. And when you cry out, he just says, "Hey, it's a gift." You're unsure if he means it or if he's just joking. He's always there, lurking in the background, reminding you that your body has some screws loose and sometimes doesn't play nice. Hey, it's Steve. Let me rewind the clock. I had my 2024 MRI this past week. If you hadn't had one of these delightful procedures, imagine diving into a metal tube that sounds like a malfunctioning jet engine. It's a beautiful way to spend an hour and a half trapped in your own thoughts and forcing yourself not to move an inch while vibrating like a massive overpriced maraca. That was my Friday. On Monday, I received the typical email informing me that the results were available to download. You know me, I quickly downloaded them and loaded them into Mila LXIV, a computer program for viewing and analyzing MRI images. I found myself staring at the same old landscape of white matter changes of my brain and spinal cord. It's weird looking at your brain the first time, but now I am so used to it, I instantly know where to go and what to look for. The radiologist report reads like, last year's evaluation from the MS report card. The brain, extensive white matter changes as described, consistent with the patient's history of demyelinating disease. No definite new areas of T2 signal abnormality or enhancement to suggest acute or active demyelination. Overall, findings are similar when compared to the prior exam. Then the spine. Subtle areas of signal abnormality within the spinal cord consistent with patient's history of demyelinating disease. No new areas of T2 signal abnormality or enhancement to suggest acute or active demyelination. I mean, seriously, talk about a deja vu. Looking back to my first digital scans in 2013, everything appears almost identical. It's like my brain has decided to play a game of let's be boring and not change for over 10 years. I thought reading that report was a major bummer at first. I wanted to make a video saying I had some wild and crazy results like all brain lesions have resolved, or at least something novel like your white matter is now a disco ball, rotating and producing a funky beat. But no, it's just stable. 11 years of stability. As I stared at the images and pondered them, I suddenly realized something. The T1 and T2 MRI scans I was looking at are useless when attempting to show MS recovery, remyelination, or anything else positive. Just negative ones like inflammation and new damage, if they were there. I am so thankful I had the foresight to shoot these video clips when I was on vacation in San Diego in the summer of 2013. That was right around the time I had my 2013 MRI. Then and now. Very similar brain images, but two highly different lives being lived. In the years after my MS diagnosis, I always told people I rated each day by how many times I fell. A perfect day was less than 10, but a bad day was more than 30. Perfect days were rare, bad days were more the norm. Now in 2024, there is a new strength in my right leg. I sense it. It's like the leg has inner resilience that anchors me to the ground. Each step I take is deliberate and purposeful. Back in 2013, I dealt with extreme fatigue. I couldn't make it through a day without taking at least 1 hour-long nap. Even then, my thinking was stuck in a perpetual fog, and I couldn't go for more than a few hours without at least lying down and closing my eyes. Now, I never lay down or feel the need to take a break. Back then, I suffered from constant double vision, depending on how hot I was. Half the time, if you looked at me, you would have thought I was winking at you because I needed to close one eye shut to stop seeing double. I can't even remember how long it has been since I did that. Back then, I was frustrated with my bladder and the urgency I faced multiple times a day. My pants were washed more times than I could remember because I peed on them. Now, I don't feel that urgency. I mean, sometimes I put it off and need to hurry a little bit to get to the bathroom, but that urgency is not elevated anywhere even close to that previous level. Those are a few examples. I could go on, but returning to the MRI, I now see the images for what they are. Old scars from a distant past. The images of sclerosis dot my MRI will probably never disappear fully. And honestly, that's okay, because my life has completely changed for the better. The sclerosis, well, they are just part of my story. Just like that scar from when my dad accidentally dropped the piano on my hand as an infant, you probably have scars on your body too. I think we all agree, those old scars, they don't hurt. My piano scar on the back of my hand weaves between my index and middle finger and ends at my palm. I've looked down at it my entire life. Now it takes on new meaning. It's a reminder of growth, resilience, and some questionable choices that I made in places to crawl on the floor. Likewise, the sclerosis are a reminder of my life in my early 20s. Just a memory. That's all they are. When all my symptoms started to disappear, the control that MS held over me simply followed suit, becoming just an old memory. Granted, it took me years of ups and downs, but every year brought tangible improvements. I remember around 2016 or 2017, I started questioning my sanity with real thoughts like, is this real? Am I really feeling this good because of what I'm doing? I know with absolute certainty this can be your journey as well, even if your sclerosis don't ever disappear. Going into my 2024 MRI, I genuinely believed it would reveal a miraculous transformation, like all signs of MS have vanished. I know, it was foolish. I am foolish. Call it wishful thinking. But I was holding out for a miraculous new me. I mean, look at me. No more pain. No more fatigue. No more heat sensitivity. No more double vision. No more. You get it. The only thing I have left now is the occasional misstep while walking. But even those events are diminishing and becoming less frequent. I am 100% confident that one day I won't even have to think about that. Some tips can be done to signify remyelination indirectly, called diffusion tensor imaging. It assesses the integrity of white matter tracks by measuring the movement of water molecules in the tissue. Then there's magnetic resonance spectroscopy, also analyzes the chemical composition of brain tissues, including metabolites associated with myelin. However, and that's a big however, the T1 and T2 scans I had done are not sensitive enough. Remyelination is happening, but it's not visible. I believe this extensive invisible remyelination is the secret sauce behind my improvements. Not just little improvements, I mean drastic, huge improvements, life-changing improvements. I think part of it's the concept of neuroplasticity, which might not sound great, but it means that the brain's ability to change itself physically, well, that supports this idea I'm talking about. With MS, my brain has been reacting to the things I've been doing, like intense cardio on my rowing machine, basking in UVB light, sticking to my diet ritual, chugging down 3 daily drops of nascent iodine, taking Clemastine twice a day, and achieving that coveted deep sleep. I'm becoming more confident in the idea that all these things are one of the major, if not the most important thing that I'm doing, and it's working. I'm finding that perfect combination of ingredients to bake this ultimate cake. A little exercise here, a sprinkle of nutrition there, a dollop of Clemastine on top, and wham! A slice of MS recovery. Yes, some with MS can experience a halt in symptoms, a situation often referred to as asymptomatic or MS in name only. Feels like having a free pass at an amusement park. I'm still holding my MS ticket, but I'm not going on any of the rides. While T1 and T2 images provide valuable information about lesions and inflammation, they are ineffective at seeing the remyelination process. I admire the resilience we have as MS patients. While I scour the depths of medical journals, trying to understand the nuances of this, I think of how this dance between hope and reality plays out. Our battle scars reflect damage to the myelin, stemming from the immune system's mischief. But those old scars don't completely shut down the possibility of our body's healing. Remyelination can occur. I know it. I feel it with every fiber of my being. Even if the presence of persistent scars that dot the MRI scans like unwelcoming reminders of a bruised past, I like having a not so great review on Yelp. It might deter some neurons, but doesn't stop the remyelination from happening elsewhere. Our bodies have this incredible arsenal of cells known as oligodendrocyte precursor cells. I've talked about it before. Think of them as the valiant knights of our central nervous system, ready to march into battle to repair damaged myelin. Research indicates that these cells can transform into oligodendrocytes, the heroes of producing new myelin. So even if some lesions continue to leave their mark, remyelination can occur around the edges of old scars. Many of us experience significant symptom relief thanks to successful remyelination. Of course, significant is a relative term because while some in the MS journey dance through life can go through with barely a hitch, others wade through knee deep. We each have to fight against what nature has given us. Now I know this may sound overly optimistic, but hanging on to hope is an essential part of being a warrior in this MS victory. People often ask me about medications and ask if I'm on a disease modifying therapy. I respond, absolutely. I have been on a DMT my entire MS life, and I urge everyone to be on one. I see this battle needs defenses. A DMT is defense number 1. Many of us might be tempted to stop there, but not me. My essentials are the second. They have transformed my life. Lifting weights and intense cardio isn't just for muscle-bound gym rats looking to bulk up. It's for you and for me. Lifting weights and doing cardio can promote previously mentioned oligodendrocyte precursor cells to start remyelination. It also increases my strength throughout my body while boosting my overall stamina. I get the added bonus of feeling like a superhero. Clemastine suppresses the M1 muscarinic receptor in our CNS. In MS patients, the receptor is overactivated, but Clemastine suppresses the activation, leading to reduced inflammatory pathways while promoting the maturation of OPCs into mature oligodendrocytes. Regular exposure to UVB radiation aids in vitamin D production, which is crucial in the immune functioning. At the same time, it targets the autoreactive immune cells that originally caused MS and straight up kills them. I try to limit my diet to 1 meal a day. go with me here. It makes perfect sense. Eating generates inflammation within the body. So by limiting the window to I eat, the less inflammation is produced. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, that's what I do. 1,630 calories in one sitting. But on the other days, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, when I go big and lift weights and do 2 sessions of cardio, it's 4,300 calories. And I extend that window to 4 hours. I know it all sounds intense, but working out that hard intensifies my energy, and nothing more needs to be said. 3 drops of daily nascent iodine. This one is a funky addition, and while it sounds like something out of a sci-fi fantasy, it's very beneficial. Nascent iodine supports thyroid function, which is pivotal in remyelination. So weird. Why does my thyroid have anything to do with remyelination? It's just the way our bodies are set up. And then finally, sleep. My dear, sweet, sweet friend, sleep. During sleep, the brain upregulates genes involved in remyelination, lipid metabolism, and OPC proliferation. So getting those solid hours of deep slumber is incredible and essential. We may feel like we're engaged in a constant tug of war with MS, but now I don't. Not in the slightest. With these 2 lines of defenses, I'm confident I'm doing everything I can to protect myself. From myself. As I reflect with you, remember this. While old scars may linger, they don't define who we are or how our brains are silently healing. The journey with MS has taught me lessons about resilience and adaptability and finding joy in the small things, whether it be managing my diet or conquering a new weight level in my gym. We often underestimate the subtle victories won along the way, and yet those small victories are the ones that make this journey worth fighting for. What small things do you cherish now more than ever as you recover from this disease? It feels good to share this with you. Write to me down in the comments and share your thoughts. If my musings resonate or strike a chord with you, remember, reconnecting with our emotional and physical well-being can be the heart of thriving amidst this condition. Let's continue to uplift and support each other in our quest for improvement, laughter, and growth, because that's what great friends do. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Until the next one.